It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The kind of day little girls dream about, the sparkling dress, the breathtaking flowers, and the man of my dreams waiting for me at the end of the aisle. For months, I'd poured my heart into every detail. The guest list, the music, the seating charts, all of it carefully planned so nothing could go wrong. Or so I thought. But sometimes, the people who can hurt you the most are the ones sitting at your family table. In just a few minutes, one person, someone I trusted, someone who had been part of my life since the day I was born, managed to turn everything upside down. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't make a public scene, but her actions were sharper than any knife. And she thought she'd done it so cleverly that no one would ever notice. She smiled through it all. She mingled with guests, clinked glasses, and pretended to be part of my happiness, all while quietly, deliberately, trying to ruin the one day I could never get back. But what she didn't know was that my husband had invited a silent guest to our wedding. A guest that hovered above us, unnoticed, never blinking, never missing a single detail. And when the day was over, that guest revealed everything, every smirk, every accident, every calculated move, in crystal clear detail. And that changed everything. I grew up in one of those small towns where everybody knew your name and your business. Neighbors waved from their porches, kids rode bikes until the streetlights came on, and Sundays were for big family dinners that lasted until dessert was gone and coffee cups were empty. Family was supposed to be the anchor of our lives. Birthdays, Christmas mornings, backyard barbecues, we didn't just show up, we showed up for each other. My mom was the oldest of 3 sisters, and I was her only daughter. That made me a bit of a novelty in the family, doted on by everyone, especially my mom's younger sister, Linda. When I was little, she was the fun aunt. The one who'd slip me extra chocolate before dinner, whisper silly secrets in my ear, and let me stay up late watching movies I probably wasn't old enough to see. Back then, I adored her. But as the years passed, I began to see another side of Aunt Linda. It was subtle at first, tiny digs at family gatherings. "Oh, you've put on a little weight, haven't you?" she'd say, smiling sweetly. Or, "You really think you can pull off that haircut?" I told myself it was just her way of teasing. But then came the bigger moments. When my cousin Emily graduated from college, Linda somehow turned the whole party into a showcase for her brand new car. At my high school graduation, she accidentally spilled juice on my gown right before the photos. And when my mom got promoted, Linda spent the evening talking about how she could have gotten the same job if she'd wanted it. It was always the same, if the spotlight wasn't on her, she'd find a way to take it. Then I met Daniel. It was at a charity fundraiser, the kind of event where everyone's half distracted by the food and silent auction tables. He was one of the organizers, wearing this slightly rumpled shirt and a name badge, moving through the crowd like he was trying to make sure every single person felt welcome. I was there with a friend, and we ended up standing near the same table. He struck up a conversation, not the small talk you forget 5 minutes later, but real, genuine questions. He wanted to know what I did, what I loved, what made me laugh. And when I answered, he actually listened. Not the kind of fake nodding people do while looking over your shoulder, he listened like my words mattered. We talked the entire night. By the time I left, I knew I'd met someone different. We dated for 2 years. 2 years of late-night walks, silly arguments over takeout orders, and cheering each other on through every high and low. Then, one weekend, he took me back to the lake where we'd had our very first date. The air was cool, the water still. He got down on one knee with this smile that made my heart race. And I said yes before he could even finish asking. When we told my family, there were cheers, hugs, and congratulations. Everyone seemed happy, except Linda. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Her congratulations sounded rehearsed. And then the comments began. "Oh, you're going with that venue? That's bold. Interesting choice of flowers. Wow, Daniel must be doing really well to afford this, good for him." I tried to laugh it off. Daniel told me to ignore it. But deep down, I could feel the tension building. Wedding planning was chaos. Beautiful, exhausting, chaos. I wanted something elegant but personal, soft blush tones in the flowers, warm string lights wrapped around the wooden beams, and an outdoor ceremony time so the sun would dip below the horizon just as we said our vows. In my head, it was perfect. But Linda had other ideas. From the start, she seemed determined to have a say in everything. "I know a better photographer," she'd insist, brushing off the fact that I'd already chosen someone whose work I loved. "Are you sure about that dress style?" "It's risky," she'd add, tilting her head with a tight smile, making it sound like advice when it felt more like criticism. And more than once, she reminded me, "You should seat me closer to the front." I am family, after all, as if her worth was measured by her proximity to the aisle. It wasn't helpful involvement, it was control. She'd text me unsolicited ideas late at night, send me links to venues we weren't even considering, and accidentally let it slip to relatives that she thought some of my choices were untraditional. 2 weeks before the wedding, we were at Sunday dinner. The smell of roast chicken filled the kitchen, and the table was alive with chatter. I was telling everyone how excited I was about our photo setup, the archway, the lighting, the flowers, all working together like a dream. Linda leaned back, smirked, and said casually, "Photos are tricky. One bad shot, and you'll regret it forever." Everyone else kept eating. I forced a laugh. At the time, it felt like a strange, throwaway comment. Now, looking back, I think it was a warning. The day finally arrived. From the moment I opened my eyes, I knew it was going to be perfect. The skies were a flawless shade of blue, with a warm breeze drifting through the curtains. The kind of weather brides pray for but rarely get. The venue had been prepped the night before, and when I peeked out from my room, it looked like something straight out of a wedding magazine. Rows of white chairs lined up like soldiers, blush pink flowers spilling from every arrangement, the archway standing proud, draped in delicate fabric that swayed gently in the wind. I woke up early, my stomach a knot of nerves and excitement. The makeup artist arrived first, hauling in cases of brushes and palettes. My bridesmaids followed soon after, buzzing with energy, clutching coffee cups and giggling over little details. The smell of fresh roses filled the air as the florist added final touches. Daniel popped in for just a moment before heading to get ready with his groomsmen. He gave me that calm, reassuring smile I loved so much, leaned in close, and whispered, "Don't worry about the pictures. I've got a little surprise to make sure they're perfect." I blinked, caught off guard. "What kind of surprise?" He only grinned. "You'll see." There was no time to press him for answers, hair, makeup, dress fittings, the minutes slipped by in a blur. Soon, the sound of car doors and laughter signaled the guests' arrival. I stepped outside, my heart full, and then I saw her. Aunt Linda. Perfectly dressed, her hair styled immaculately. But there it was, that same smug smirk. And in that moment, I felt it. The calm before a storm. It started small, almost unnoticeable, the kind of things you could write off as harmless mistakes. During the bridesmaids group shot, Linda accidentally stepped right into the frame, her arm blocking half of my maid of honor's face. "Oh. Sorry," she laughed, her voice light but her smile just a little too satisfied. I brushed it off. Everyone makes mistakes, right? Then came the family photo. We were all arranged neatly, the photographer counting down, when Linda leaned toward my cousin and whispered something. Whatever it was, it made my cousin burst into loud laughter at the exact moment the camera clicked. The shot was ruined. I was trying to keep my patience when it happened again, this time during my solo portraits. I was standing under the perfect light, my dress flowing, the bouquet resting in my hands. And there she was, strolling casually behind me, carrying a giant soda cup, bright red, the logo facing the lens like it was part of a sponsorship deal. The photographer asked her politely, more than once, to step aside. She ignored him. And then came the moment I'll never forget. Daniel and I were finally together under the flower arch, holding hands, smiling at each other like no one else existed. The breeze lifted the veil just slightly, it was perfect. Until Linda stumbled forward. Her champagne glass tipped, and in an instant, cold liquid splashed down the front of my dress. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She clutched her chest in fake horror. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." But her eyes told the truth. She was enjoying every single second. We waited until after the cake cutting. I didn't want to make a scene in front of all the guests, no matter what Linda had done, it was still my wedding day. But my heart was pounding, and my hands were cold as Daniel and I slipped away from the reception. We headed to the private lounge the venue had set aside for us. It was quiet there, the noise of the celebration muffled behind thick doors. My mom was already waiting, her face tense. Daniel had also asked a couple of close relatives to join us, people who had been near enough to witness at least part of the day's chaos. Linda walked in last, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. She glanced around, her eyes darting between us, and smiled faintly. "What's going on?" she asked, as if she didn't already know. I took a breath, forcing my voice to stay calm. "Linda," I began, "we need to talk about what happened today." She tilted her head, feigning confusion. "What do you mean?" "It was all an accident." That's when Daniel picked up the remote and pressed play. The lounge's big screen lit up with crisp drone footage, every moment, every smirk, every so-called accident. The soda cup. The whisper to my cousin. And the champagne spill, deliberate, undeniable, caught from above in perfect clarity. Linda's face drained of color. Her mouth opened, then closed again. She stammered a few excuses about misunderstandings and bad timing, but no one said a word. The room was silent except for the audio of her own actions playing back. Finally, my mom stood, her voice sharp. "I think you should leave." Linda's lips pressed into a thin line. Without another word, she grabbed her clutch and stormed out, the door closing hard behind her. Word spread fast, faster than I ever expected. By the next morning, my phone was flooded with messages from guests. Some apologized for not noticing what had happened right in front of them. Others admitted, sometimes a little sheepishly, that they'd always suspected Linda enjoyed stirring trouble. One message stood out. It was from my cousin Emily, the one who'd laughed during the family photo. She wrote, "I'm so sorry. I thought she was just joking. I didn't realize she was trying to ruin things for you." That hurt a little, knowing how easily people could be pulled into her games without realizing it. But the thing that still makes me smile? Daniel's drone footage. It didn't just save the day, it gave us something unforgettable. Our photographer was able to pull still shots from the drone video, creating an album that told the full story. There were the stunning, romantic moments under the arch, and then, on the next page, the champagne spill, captured from above in all its deliberate glory. We decided to keep both. Not as a reminder of a ruined moment, but as proof that we overcame it. As for Linda, I haven't spoken to her since. She's reached out a few times through relatives, but I just can't bring myself to reopen that door. This whole experience taught me something important. Family isn't defined by shared DNA or last names. It's defined by the people who show up, who stand by you when it matters most, and, in my case, those who will literally fly a drone over your wedding to protect your memories. And honestly, that's the kind of family I'll choose, every single time.